What's up, guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to go over the Servicemembers Civil Relief Act. This is the most important legal protection guaranteed to members of our armed forces while they serve. Today, we're going to talk about the most important provisions of this act, and if any of these apply to you, you absolutely should exert your rights so that you can focus on your job of defending the nation. Okay guys, before we go any further, I do need to say that I am active duty Air Force, but I am not a JAG. I am not a lawyer. I have never been to law school. All that I've done is done some research online, and I'm just repackaging it for you. So if you do have any specific concerns or issues or questions, you can leave a comment down below. I'll try and help, but otherwise you need to speak to a legal professional. Okay, the Civil Service Relief Act was passed in 2003. However, it was basically just a revision of the Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act, which was passed in 1940. This law, or the intent of this law, has actually been around since the Civil War. During all of our wars until the modern times, it was always a difficulty paying soldiers, and then while they were overseas fighting, for those soldiers to then pay their bills, their mortgage. So Congress has always passed laws to help service members while fighting in a war meet their financial obligations, or protect them at least while they're overseas. So this law was revamped in 2003, and they've added a lot of great new stuff, and we're going to go through some of those today. And once again, the purpose of this law is military service may make it difficult to meet financial obligations, so legal protections are guaranteed by the government. Who gets the SCRA protections? It's all active duty service members of every branch upon entering and up to 1 year after leaving service. However, it does not cover retirees or those on state orders. So if you're in the National Guard or the Reserves, when you're activated and you're on federal orders, SCRA protections are enacted. However, if you're not on orders or you're on state orders, then you're going to have to check with your state to see if they have an equivalent for their state laws. Okay, I just want to start with the most important one in case you click out of this video. But the number one benefit, in my eyes, is that all debt is reduced to 6%. This is all debt accumulated prior to entering service, and it applies to auto loans, mortgages, student loans, and credit cards. But it is important to know that it does not cover any debt that you accumulate after joining. This is only pre-joining debt, which is very important. So you must be responsible once you're in. And you must request this. You have to opt in. Credit card companies, banks, car lenders, they're not going to tell you about the Servicemembers Civil Relief Act. They all know about it, but you have to verbally or in writing say, I'm requesting this benefit, and I want my interest rates reduced to 6%, and they must comply. It is federal law. What kind of savings does that get you, though? Let's do a quick example. Let's say you did some undergraduate but didn't complete it, and then you wanted to serve in the military. Let's say you accumulated $20,000 worth of student loans at 9%, and you wanted to repay that during your 4 years. You would have to pay $497 a month, and the total interest you'd be paying to your private lender, the bank or whoever, would be about $3,800. However, if you just reduce that to 6% instead of 9% and wanted to repay it in 4 years, monthly payment of $469, you only pay in interest $2,500. That's a savings of $1,344. That's a lot. It's significant over a 4-year period for someone who's just joined the military. However, what if you have credit card debt and it's at 18% and you can reduce that to 6%? The average American has a credit card balance of around $5,700, and if it's accumulating at an 18% APR, you'd have to pay $167 a month to pay that off for a total interest of $2,300. But if you can reduce that to 6%, $133 a month, total interest only $725. That's a savings of $1,600. So when you look at the APR of 18%, you're saving $1,600 on $5,700 worth of credit card debt, versus 9% at 20,000. It's less savings, but still very significant. So reducing all debt to 6% is an amazing benefit. The next one is your landlord cannot evict you. The rule for this is unless your rent is over $3,800 a month. However, that dollar amount fluctuates year to year, so definitely check online. But a landlord cannot evict you without a court order, and whenever they go to the courts, they then have to say, yes, this person's active duty, and the court is probably going to say, well, we're going to need to contact this person and then figure out why they can't pay their bill. Are they deployed? Are they overseas? Has something unexpected happened? Sometimes people in the military don't get their paychecks on time. It happened to me. So you must get a court order, which is difficult to do. And your landlord cannot change the locks on you or throw away your property. And for all of these provisions, anyone who violates federal law is subject to criminal charges. A bank cannot foreclose on you. Once again, they must get a court order, and they can't change the locks, throw away any property, criminal charges if violated. If you got a VA home loan, you should definitely contact the VA home loan line to see what kind of protections or assistance you can get if you're having difficulty paying your mortgage. If you have belongings in a storage locker, it cannot be sold or thrown away without a court order. If you are relocating to an area without cell phone coverage for longer than 90 days, you can get out of any cell phone contract. This is actually what happened to me. I had T-Mobile, and then I moved to North Dakota, and there's no T-Mobile coverage up here. So I was able to get out of my cell phone contract. There's no fines or penalties. They just have to release you. They also can freeze service until you return if you're going overseas for a deployment or you're going TDY to a tech school or some kind of a temporary assignment. You can talk to the phone company and they can just pause your payments until you get back. Your telephone number is also protected. You can call your company and say, hey, I'm going overseas to serve, and you can be guaranteed that phone number when you get back. All you have to do is provide a copy of your orders. You can end a vehicle lease if you're deployed for 180 days or more, or you get PCS orders outside the continental United States. For example, if you were to be stationed in Hawaii or Guam, then you can get out of a vehicle lease. You can also end a housing or apartment lease. This is once again something that I did when I was stationed in California and then got orders to North Dakota. When I sign my leases, I always try and sign it for as long as possible for the lowest rates, because I know that as soon as I get PCS orders, they have to let me out. There's no penalty or fine for breaking your lease agreement if the military is giving you orders to move. Your credit report is protected. So any late payments that you have or any kind of debt that goes into arbitration, credit companies or banks can't report this to the credit reporting agencies, so your credit is actually protected while you serve. I've seen YouTube videos and I've seen people talk about how they got a bunch of credit cards and then their credit was destroyed. Once again, any debt that you accumulate before you go in is protected. However, after you join, you then have to be responsible. So as far as when this applies, definitely check with a lawyer if you think that something is inaccurate or incomplete and you'd like it removed from your credit history. The Fair Credit Reporting Act also assists you in this department. You can postpone court proceedings while serving, and you might be entitled to reopen cases if a case closed while you were serving and then you return to either your home state or you return from serving overseas. You can still be taken to court for civil proceedings like divorce and child support. However, you can request a delay of proceedings to up to 90 days to accommodate making an appearance. And I've gotten this question before, but you still have to do jury duty. Being in the military does not get you out of jury duty if you don't have a valid reason to do it while you're serving at a particular station. Another benefit is state tax relief. Orders to a different state will not change you or your spouse's domicile or state of legal residence, meaning that if you're from, for example, Texas, which doesn't have state income tax, and you get orders to California, which is state income tax at 13.3, it doesn't matter if you have a house and you're legally residing in California, you can still claim residency in the state of your choice or your home state to get that state income tax rate if you'd like. This is a very good benefit that most people, I think, know about, but they don't know that it's covered under the Servicemembers Civil Relief Act. However, and this is a big one, it does not cover non-military earnings. So if you get a part-time job while stationed in California at a local restaurant, for example, on the weekends, any income that you earned in that state while living in that state should be applied to that state's income tax rates. Real quick, I want to mention two other important pieces of legislation. USERRA, Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Act. This mostly applies to Guard and Reservists to help them deal with problems and stress involved in switching between civilian jobs and military service. Once again, I'm active duty, so I'm not very familiar with this. Talk to a Guard or a Reservist to learn more about that. And then there's something called the Military Lending Act, which is very new, and this was passed in 2006 and amended in 2013. And the Military Lending Act protects service members from basically the most egregious and predatory loans that you can get out there. Financial abuses is the language, but it covers payday loans, vehicle title loans, tax refund loans. When you look at the equivalent APR of those kinds of loans, I mean, it's like 200 or even 2,000% sometimes. So if you invoke the Military Lending Act and you, for some reason, were doing payday loans, dealers must calculate a separate APR for service members, and you'll get a better deal, although you still shouldn't ever be doing tax refund loans or payday loans or vehicle title loans. But it's just something that you should know exists, and it's to your benefit. And I'm going to end this video by saying that go talk to a JAG, go talk to your base legal office. Most base legal offices have walk-in hours for free legal consultations about anything going on in your life. They're there to protect you from financial and legal complications. They want to see you, they want to help you now, as opposed to, it's spiraling out of control and being a much bigger problem potentially in the future. And I do want to say that, if you're experiencing financial difficulty or financial trouble, it's one team, one fight. We're all in this together. And your government, and especially your branch and the DoD in general, they want to protect you. They want to help you. They want to make sure that you can meet your financial obligations, support your family, and then succeed in your job to the benefit of the nation. So that's really important to know that Congress has passed all these legal protections in order for you to be able to focus on your job. And as far as invoking these protections, do it. There's no reason not to, and it's always to your benefit. Okay guys, if you found this video useful at all, please consider giving it a thumbs up so other people can find it. In addition, if you have any comments or questions or maybe even stories, definitely leave a comment down below, and if I can help you, I'll try and give you some useful information. In addition, check out my channel, consider subscribing. I post weekly about military and finance topics. And yeah, until next time, see you then.